So, did finish my walk. Um, One of the things I do, I wasn't sure how it was going to go, as I said earlier. I was feeling off today, a little tired and headachy, mostly because of allergies. And in listening to my body, there are some days I get the very clear message: do not walk today. It's not a good idea. You're not up for it. And then there are those days like today where it's a question mark. I'm feeling slightly off, but am I really up for it or not? And on those days, I have a little talk with myself, much like I would one of my clients, a talk free of judgment and being gentle. And what I do is I tell myself that, well, let's just try. We'll take it slow, take it easy. Um, and if I need to, I can cut the walk short. But let's just give it a try. And today was one of those days, and as I started out, it was very clear I needed to go slow. Which brings me to one of the things that my head was all over the place today on the walk on different things, thinking about different things, what I might talk about in this video. And one of the things was about changing capacities, and that we live in a society that tells us we're supposed to go at 100% all the frickin' time. And not only 100%, but I remember growing up, a lot of hearing it's like you have to give 110% all the time. And no matter how hard we might try not to, that kind of thinking sort of worms its way into our subconscious and our worldview and how we see ourselves and how we judge ourselves, and that we should always be going, we should always be giving 100%. And that's kind of a fallacy on multiple levels, and one of those levels being our capacity changes from one day to the next. So what I might be able to do in one day is my 100%. And another day where I quote unquote accomplished less, that might have been my 100% that day based on what I had in the tank to start with, how much energy I had, how well I was feeling, etc. And then the other part is it's complete and utter bullshit to give 100% or 110%, because if you keep going at 100%, 110%, full tilt, all out, all the time, you're not going to have anything left in reserve. You're going to burn out, burn up. Even machines, if you run them full tilt, will eventually go up in smoke from never getting maintenance, never getting care. They will blow up. And we are certainly far from machines, and we need a lot more rest. And I personally don't think we were put on this earth to just work and produce and get things done. There are so many other things to enjoy in this life. So that was one part. The other thing was, as I approached this walk, there was a temptation at one point to sort of pick up the pace, because this is a trail that I walk on a lot. And when I'm feeling 100%, or what is my 100%, it's not somebody else's 100%, when I'm feeling really good, normally at a particular point on this trail, I naturally start to pick up the pace. It's a little bit more downhill, plus I think adrenaline and endorphins are starting to kick in at that point. But today when I reached that point, little voice said, no, don't do it. You need to keep going slow and steady today. That's the way to do this. So I did, and today's walk was kind of leisurely compared to a lot of my other ones, but it felt good, and it felt right. And it led me to reflecting on the slow and steady approach to life, to health, and healing. And one of the biggest things since I was in the hospital at the end of January is, so it's only been like 7 months now, almost 7 months. I've lost 50 pounds. Not from doing anything crazy, no fad diets, no heavy duty restriction, just a slow and steady showing up for myself every day, making conscientious decisions about what I eat, how I eat, taking care of myself, using my CPAP to make sure I get adequate sleep, practicing good sleep hygiene, doing these walks, which are an important part of daily exercise. And then when it comes to my diet, it's making sustainable changes. And that's the other part with the slow and steady. It can be frustrating, I won't lie. There are some, in the beginning, the weight just came off really fast. A lot of it was water weight from the fluid retention because of heart failure. But actually, as my cardiologist said, it's still good and it still counts. And then the weight would fluctuate. I would have 1 month I might lose 7 or 8 pounds. Another month I barely lost 3. But it's the overall consistent making changes to how I approach my health and my healing and my eating and what I eat and how I eat and when I eat it, and being mindful. And my doctors are very happy. They point out that the slow and steady approach to losing weight is healthy. It's the healthy way to do it, not causing me additional health issues. It's also a way that the reality is when I lose as much weight as I need to lose to not be obese anymore, there's going to be some loose skin. It's just a reality of being this overweight. And my doctors assure me that because I'm losing the weight slowly and I'm exercising, it's not going to be as bad as it would be otherwise. And then the other part is slow and steady is sustainable. We often like to go in and radically make all kinds of changes, and that is my personality, I'm not going to lie. But if we try too much, too fast, all at once, push ourselves too hard, we're not going to be able to sustain it. And the weight loss is one of those areas. And I'm losing weight not because of how I look or anything like that. It's about my health. And the only way it's going to be sustainable is this slow and steady and making changes to my lifestyle that are sustainable. Nothing crazy, nothing over the top. No fad diets, no heavy-duty, serious restrictions. I mean, even then, I'm not going to lie, it's challenging. Sometimes I just want a fucking cheeseburger. And sometimes I let myself have it. And what I do is I make a cheeseburger at home instead of going to Burger King or Lord Rogers. And at least that cheeseburger is a little healthier, all things considered. So there's that. There's slow and steady. And then the final thing is just showing up. Not just showing up to do your exercise. I did another video where I talked about just, sometimes it's enough just to show up. It's okay that it's just enough to show up and do the walk. It doesn't have to be the best walk or the fastest walk or the longest walk or the made me breathe the hardest walk. It's showing up every day. And talking about it in the context of exercise. But there's another context, and that's just showing up for yourself. Some other things have been happening. Our mental and emotional, spiritual well-being goes hand in hand with our physical. And as I've been working on the physical healing, some other things have been shifting. And one of those has been drawing boundaries. And that's part of the showing up for myself. And one of my tendencies, both just in my personality, in my personal relationships, and in the work that I do, is when somebody's hurting or challenged or in trouble, I want to help. And nothing wrong with that. And the problem is, sometimes I extend beyond what is reasonable for myself to do. And I extend energy I don't have to use on someone else's behalf. And so I'm not saying you should never inconvenience yourself to help another person. I'm not saying that. But there comes a point where you have to realize that I have to draw these boundaries about what is reasonable and what is not reasonable for someone else to ask of me and for me to do. And that I need to draw better boundaries, and I'm getting better at it, around what energy I need to keep on reserve for me. And that's part of not going 100% and not 110% all the time. In helping people is wonderful. And at the same time, you can't keep exhausting yourself. You can't keep diminishing your life quality trying to help someone else. And then there comes the other piece that's been driven home to me lately again, is sometimes we just can't save other people. And really, you can never save somebody else. They have to save themselves. And if you're trying to help them, which sometimes we do need to extend the hand, and then there comes the point where you have to realize that sometimes the help that you're giving isn't helping, it's enabling. And you have to draw that boundary. And it's hard because you know they might crash. And that's really hard, especially when you love them and you care about them and you want them to do well. But you also know that continuing to extend help on the level or to the degree that you have been is not only bad for you, it's not helping them move forward and do things for themselves. So, slow and steady, take care of yourself, and show up for yourself every day, making sure you get what you need. That's it. Just show up for yourself. That's it for today.